But let's deal with the last but not the least story. You know, the fuel distribution system in Nigeria is plagued by corruption and inefficiency, leading to hoarding and diversion of the petrol for the general public. Now, this, of course, could result in an energy crisis. Let's tell you that the federal government says recent flooding and weather conditions have temporarily disrupted the fuel distribution chain. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lokpobiri, says the government's dedicated team is working tirelessly to resolve the issues. This is as queues for petrol surfaced on Monday in both Lagos and the FCT, Emeka.
The same excuses every time. It rained, and then ships.
Rain no fall.
Yeah, it rained. And then fuel scarcity ensued again.
Yeah.
Daughter vessels could not go to mother. We keep hearing very interesting terms. So daughter vessels could not go to mother vessels to load. Trucks could not move fuel. Could not move PMS
because of flooding.
Because of flooding. Can we please, develop a national? I believe we have a national disaster and emergency plan. We cannot. If flooding in Nigeria is actually a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like some parts of the world that suffer devastating flooding. So we need to have a national emergency plan that will take care, that will enable us to take care of issues, prepare ahead for issues. Because actually trucking these things by road is a huge no. We must, you see, those pipes that are being vandalized, government must do all it can to deal with pipeline vandalism. Because the easiest way is to take these things through the pipelines. Now, if it shouldn't be seen that government has actually surrendered to pipeline vandals. That will not be a good narrative. The government has the capacity. Government ought to have the monopoly of violence. Government has the capacity to make sure that it has a plan to move petroleum products through the pipelines. Trucking them all the way is expensive and unsustainable.
Asuko, but you remember in the past, petrol used to be conveyed by train, by rail, so to speak, across the country. So when the Buhari government made to revive rail transport in Nigeria, many of us felt there was going to be a sense of relief, conveying these products.
Yeah, but yes, we know that it was going to be a sense of relief, but not by train. Immediately you start putting fuel in the train and then for it to start moving. But I know there are some cargo, some goods that move from Lagos to Kano, but I'm not sure about petrol. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But I think for this particular incident that happened, it's just so unfortunate that we are facing it now. NIMET had already warned, that Nigeria is going to experience an extreme weather.
Yeah.
They called it, they underlined that word, extreme.
Yeah.
Okay.
Occasioned by flooding and related troubles.
Yes, they actually, because they said it was just going to be different from the regular rainfall. Okay, so it means that, just like you said, we should have prepared for it, but we never knew that it was going to be so extreme that thunderstorms will come up. We were just thinking it was just going to be not the regular rainfall. So the mother vessel, because it's a chain, is a chain. The mother vessel, whereby the truck comes from Europe, from that mother vessel, they couldn't transload to the daughter vessel or the smaller vessel.
The children vessel.
Because when there is thunderstorm, you can't transload because anything can happen.
Anything is possible.
You understand? And so while they were waiting, why we have this fuel scarcity is because we are also waiting for, the rains to come down and then for the flood to also recede a bit. The depot, the little fuel that was in the depot, they too also had the issue about transloading to trucks. Okay? Because there was the issue about thunderstorms too. The weather was also affecting them. Even when they did the trucking, after the rains had, come down, floods, the issue about floods.
Yeah.
So it was just like Mother Nature was just after us that particular Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, up till today. It's just like when you have a minor accident in Lagos, you know how the whole place will be. Everywhere will be blocked. That is the same thing that happened to in this particular case. But we need to start fashioning out, ways in case something like this happens. What is the immediate solution? Do we start trucking by pipe and making sure that we also secure the pipes? Yeah. You said something about train. Do we also begin to find ways of moving trains very close to the depot so that when once
even maritime,
when once we have maybe trains that can move fuel from one particular point to the other, we can do that. So we need to start thinking of ways so that, because this will happen another time. It might not happen maybe next year, but maybe in 10 years' time, in 5 years' time, if it happens, how do we solve that?
We are still in the rainy season.
Yes.
So we are not.
So we are not free from it.
We are not done with it.
We are not free.
Yes.
Because there are some areas that, like Abuja, is really, really hit by this. Lagos, even when I heard that, there will be fuel scarcity in Lagos, by the time I rushed to go and buy full tank, I came. Buying. Yeah. By the time
which
I rushed,
NNPC warned against.
Yes, exactly. I just noticed that there was no scarcity and all that. So it means that Abuja people, they are the most hit. Yeah. Maybe because of the local that road, and once it rains there, forget it.
And can't even drive. Gentlemen, as I said at the opening, if this persists, an energy crisis, we can't afford now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that calls to question the thing, what NNPC tells us from time to time. We have enough in our storage to take care of so and so. How come when we have such problems, the storage fails? So it means we must plan better for our storage. It means the depots in the states must be revitalized. The depots must be revamped so that they can take product. We don't have to wait only for when there's a crisis.
And decentralize the depots.
Yes, when there's a crisis. And if these things are actually private sector driven, because NNPC shouldn't just be grappling with issues of these issues in downstream sector. Oh, yeah. You should be talking of bigger issues, bigger investments.
Gentlemen, when you hear that the House of Reps has waded into the matter, wants to probe what the problem is.
Let them forget about the problem. See, the Minister of...
it is already on.
Hold on. The Minister of State for Petroleum, Eniken Lokpebiri, he came out immediately to, and if you look at his statement with that of the NNPC, is almost like is similar, meaning that they are saying that this is the main problem. And you should also be worried that how can NNPC and the minister be singing the same song? Because if it were to be before, one person would have been quiet. Maybe either the minister would have been quiet or NNPC would have been quiet, or one will be talking. But this one, they are on the same page, speaking the same language, meaning that is the major problem. So for them to come now and say they want to probe, what are they probing? The minister have told you that this is the problem. NNPC has told you this is the problem. So except they want to now say, okay, let's find a lasting solution in case this happens again.
There will always be problems, so there can't be a lasting solution.
In case it happens again, fine.
Street lingo is trouble not the finish.
Trouble not the finish.
So,
but
stay ahead of trouble.
Yeah, that is it. Except maybe that is what they want to
plan C.
Let them have a plan C. Let them begin to have plans ahead.
The Federal Capital Territory is, the seat of power of the nation, where decisions are taken. So for the Federal Capital
selling black
Territory
markets
to be grounded doesn't speak well of our nation. I think we need to, the issue of storage must be dealt with. Because remember there was 1 year, that Lokoja road couldn't be accessed for about, was it 10 days or so? Trucks were stuck
just there.
on one spot.
One spot.
So we shouldn't wait for that to happen before we do something. And then we also need to look at the pumps of the filling stations. You know, even those who say they have fuel, you know, the NMDPRA should look at those pumps because people are already complaining.
Calibration and
yes, people are complaining. That what some filling stations are selling are actually below
sharp practices.
Sharp practices. You know, the thing about why we need to be proactive about problems, Nigeria's problems, is that there are people who have no conscience. They capitalize on it. They are happy. When you say fuel scarcity, they want to.
That is when they want to build their house. Okay. That's when they want to build their house.
We must make sure that government must make sure it puts these people out of business. They shouldn't be, whether they're the filling stations or on the roads or wherever.
Emeka and Asukwa, more than anything else, we can't afford an energy crisis now.
No, not now.
We can't.
Not now.
With food, we have a food crisis already. And then add energy crisis and the electricity crisis. Come on.
So I'm very sure they are really trying to solve this problem, particularly in Abuja, because it doesn't, so that it doesn't move into other states. So because if they are able to tackle Abuja, the likes of Lokoja and his advisors will be able to they will take care of that. But I'm not sure there's first scarcity in Ibadan and Co. because of Lagos. So it means for Lagos to be safe, the other states.
But based on what the customs tells us about, you know, we also look at Badagry. We are going to places like Badagry, you know, that said, you know, that's been diverted to neighboring countries. The government needs to also come down hard on something because you can't be walking and people are just, you know, opening holes in. It's a disservice. There are people who don't care. They are not patriotic enough. They don't care. All they care about is to make money from to create or exacerbate problems and make money from it. They don't care.
Counter it, you are either old school or you don't know your way.
Yes. You know, you don't know your way. And it's not right because we cannot keep, you know, recycling problems. Certain challenges that Nigerians need to by now.
Well,
should have been put.
Mecca, do you know that if, for instance, because I keep saying it, 40 to 60%, I'm just trying to look at that mathematics, okay, of the problems that we have in Nigeria is caused by we, the citizens.
No, it's a human factor.
Yeah. You understand?
It's a human factor.
If we do the right things and allow government to just do because I keep saying it, the simplest example I used to give is the traffic light. The traffic light is there for when once you see red, you stop. But when once Nigerians see red, everybody wants to be in a hurry to drive.
No, nobody. Do you want to see red?
That is when everybody wants to move. And once the thing happens, there's an accident, they'll say, I'm sorry. Or you hit another person, they start saying it's devil's so that is it. You know, you kill somebody, you start blaming another person. You know, so when government is putting the traffic light for you to at least respect another driver,
that's it.
You now start causing problem for other people.
Okay, gentlemen, time is tight, and it is the master on the show. So I imagine we must begin to apply the brakes, but not before thanking Asukwa James for your time.
Thank you so much, citizen.
And Emeka Madunago.
Thank you very much, the great citizen.
On behalf of the Backroom Boys, I want to say thank you for joining us. That's our show for today. If you missed any part of this program, not to worry. Later tonight at 11, a repeat broadcast will take your airtime, you know, so tune in then. And on Sunday, we expand the fare for you from between 1:30 and 3:30. But there's another program tomorrow. And to remind you, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Usen.